The greatest injustice is done to my people is done by the way of infection. Killing us slowly, erasing our history, done by the way of deception.
With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism, like you got in Africa 9, like you got in Haiti. Educational program, that's very important. As a matter of fact, it's so important for us that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run down ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have an education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing.
God, do you know?
God, do you know what you are? God, do you know what you are?
Goddess, do you know?
Goddess, do you know what you are? Goddess, do you know what you are?
God, do you know?
God, do you know what you are? God, do you know what you are?
Goddess, do you know?
Goddess, do you know what you are? Goddess, do you know what you are?
God, do you know?
God, do you know what you are? God, do you know what you are?
Goddess, do you know?
Goddess, do you know what you are? Goddess, do you know what you are?
We've been in the midst of creation. Seen the beginning of time. We ruled over civilization until the devil took our minds. Stuck in the middle, stayed hoping for something to come and free us from this trap. The enemies constantly putting pressure up on us, hoping one day we snap. Tell me, do you know? Look at the riches from the universe. The only thing that can claim us is the Most High. The same thing that colors your skin is the same thing the darkest of the night sky. With an alpha and omega.
Peace and Black Power family, Harlem educator, author, and activist, the Black Liberation Coach, Brother Agyei Tyehimba, and I'm filming live on location in that wonderful historical and political village of Harlem, New York. Peace and Black Power family, Wukusu, free the land by any means necessary. Hope everybody's at peace yet preparing for war, because whether you acknowledge it or not, we are being warred against. One day I'm going to be able to say we are at war, which would imply that we're warring back intentionally, right? Some of us are living our lives as if we're not being warred against, and that is a very, very grave mistake. In any event, we thank you all for joining us. Whether you're watching live, whether you come in late, or whether you see the later recorded version, we appreciate the fact that you value yourself and your liberation enough to be here. It's not about valuing me or even Harlem Liberation School. Is about yourself. You want to be self-empowered, self-motivated, because the better yourself is, the better our collective is. I see Queen B, Brenda Hilaire's in the building. She's greeting us with Ukusu. I like that she's welcoming everyone back to our Black Power sermon. I do want to acknowledge that though I do not subscribe to the religion of Christianity, I was brought up as a Christian, like most of you African folks out there. And I have some respect for some of it. I know that it originated in Africa. See, some of y'all don't know that. St. Augustine, and a lot of these early Christian fathers were in Africa. And they expropriated some African concepts and wove it into Christianity. So I respect that. But I do a Black Power sermon because I know that so many of us are conditioned to associate Sunday with being the Sabbath day, the day we go to church. I know many of you don't go to church, do you? Exactly. But yet you still want something spiritually edifying, something that's empowering, something you can relate to. And that's why I do the Black Power sermon. I'm taking an appetite I know that you have, and we're trying to use it for a revolutionary purpose. I see Kamau in the building. Peace to the Kings of Revolutionary. And we're going to do this, family. Now, this is a framework that I've developed over many years. And many people say that this framework has helped them to see our reality, our youth, the problems our adults struggle with, the problems that we struggle with organizationally in terms of our homes, differently and in a new and improved way that has empowered them to better confront some of our challenges. This is not the answer by any means. It's a framework to help you see our reality in a certain way and empower you to activate, to do something about it. All right. This is why I put this in at least 3 of my books, family. I'm repeating it over and over until we get it, because this is very important. So I'm going to take you through a a PowerPoint. And I ask your patience. You know, I'm having a few technical difficulties. Hopefully everyone can hear me clearly and see me clearly. But if anything goes wrong, family, I'm coming right back. I'm coming right back with it. So just be patient with your brother, okay? Let's check this out. We're talking about Black people in the Wizard of Oz, but I'm hoping to give you leadership insight, all right, about from this movie, from its what it shows. Now, if you were to talk about some of the problems confronting our people, God knows we got many. I don't know if we got time to go through all of them, but certainly we seem sometimes an apathy, a reluctance to protect and advance our people, to get involved, get off the damn sidelines, right? We see that there's violence in our communities from so-called gangs or street organizations, and there's emotional and psychological violence from even our community organizations, right? We have anger management issues. Sometimes we see a lack of internal or respect for ourselves first, let alone anybody else, a lack of self-respect, which then spills over into being a lack of community or external respect. We may see drug addiction and difficulty taking critique or giving critique when we know we need to be telling somebody, yo, you going off the cliff, fam. We won't tell them that. Depression, lack of motivation, severe jealousy and insecurity. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Has anybody seen any evidence of this in our community? So we often lament this, we decry it, but we need people today in the 21st century, family, who don't just articulate the problems, but give us a framework and some tools for resolving these problems so we can move on and be about our real business, right? The real business is developing tight relationships and families, being productive, seeing our dreams come true, right? Because we have the ability to actualize and operationalize these invisible thoughts in our head. The ability to live safely and securely, right? To use our talents in ways that we choose, to govern ourselves, nation building things. We can't get to nation building, those larger concepts, because we're too busy dealing with these other things in our community, these internal issues. Am I right? All right. I see that somebody is saying, right on, big brother. That's all right. All right. Now, so let's go through it. What can we do? Well, I'm going to suggest something controversial. I'm going to suggest that some of our issues can be understood and resolved through a children's movie. I know you think I'm crazy. Let's follow along. The Wizard of Oz isn't just another children's movie, family. Many of you saw it when you were children. Sometimes you go to your family's house. Some of y'all don't celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving. I understand why, for sure. But you go chill with your family and they're watching what? The Wizard of Oz, the thing about Miracle on 34th Street, the thing of the Wooden Soldiers, these kind of classic white movies that all of us saw when we were kids. So you're watching it again. You're like, okay, big deal. Let me just assure you that The Wizard of Oz is not just another children's movie, family. There are symbols in it, there are actions, and there are truths that we can use to understand the problems our youth face in this society and that we face in this society. And what I hope is that this presentation will provide you with a framework you can use to empower not just your youth, relationships, organizations, and communities. So let's summarize the characters and get the plot of the movie out real quick, and let's get into it. So if we were to summarize it, we would say this white girl named Dorothy, she lives in Kansas, right? And she finds herself in a new and strange place. Far away from home, family. That right there should get your attention. In a new and strange place, far away from home. What does this indicate? She's there with people she don't know, right? Maybe the language is different. Their customs are different. She's confused and disoriented. She don't know where her auntie is, right? I think she's living with her auntie and her grandparents. Her community isn't there. She's what? Lost, right? Okay. She meets up with three other characters, main characters, who, like her, they all have a problem. This is very important because we're starting with this idea that people are coming with lack. They're not coming to the table whole. They're coming deficient, but they recognize that they're coming deficient. All right. So all these different characters, right, meet up, and each one of them goes, oh, I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. I wish I did. Dorothy is told, oh, follow the yellow brick road, and you will have the answer to your problems, right? Why? Because she's told that this will take her to a city called Oz. And there she'll find the all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipresent wizard who's going to solve all of their problems, right? So as Dorothy finds this out, she runs into another character who comes from a position of lack. She says, oh, come with me to the wonderful wizard. He can solve your problems. Now, Dorothy don't know a damn thing about this wonderful wizard. She's going on what? Hearsay. She hasn't studied and done research. She doesn't know if there's really a wonderful wizard that has these magical powers. She's doing like many of us do. Speculate, oh, how you know? Oh, because they said, who's they? You know, Agyei and them. Who's them? How do they and them have all the power to convince us to do stuff and we don't do independent research? How many of you have gone on what them and they said only to find that they didn't know what the hell they were talking about? All right, so anyway, there's a wicked witch in the West family. Notice the geographic location of the West, as in Western Hemisphere. Well, what lies in the Western Hemisphere? Oh, the United States of America. Dominantly, the Americas are in the Western Hemisphere, not Africa and Asia. That's in East, the East, right? Okay, because we know the sun rises in the East, but it sets in the West. All right now, Sister Aziza, she says she's getting ready to sing a song from this story, and this is right on time. Peace to Sister Aziza, known her for many years. How you doing, sis? I hope you are well, and you sing that song, sister. You sing that song. I see the Queen Bee says there's many parallels. All right. Now we're going to get into it. So we deal with a wicked witch of the West. Okay, eventually these four characters, all who feel they lack something, get together. They are trying to empower themselves. They're talking, they're meeting, they're strategizing, but most importantly, they are moving in the same direction down the so-called yellow brick road. And the story takes on from there. Okay, but here's the thing that I want you to see. I want you to see this. This wicked witch of the West sees these different characters meeting, organizing, sharing their different issues, and I don't have this, I don't have that, and coming together and moving in a direction. The wicked witch of the what? West doesn't like to see these people organizing and coming together and building about being free and liberated and empowered. She doesn't like that. Why? Because she is a wicked witch. And by definition, wicked witches don't like to see people living in peace and harmony and safety and being self-governed and making their own decisions that impact their lives. The wicked witch wants to be the person impacting their life. So she's feeling insecure. She don't like that. So what does she do? Well, I just want you to notice something first. Hold on. But this is important. Oh, I can't play the video. Okay. This is what happens. The wicked witch is able, although she's at a far distance from these people, she's able to see and hear exactly what they are doing. How is the wicked witch able to do this? You might ask. Well, she has a crystal ball, family. Now, we know that this is a kind of a made-up thing. She looks through a big, huge crystal ball. She can see exactly what these characters are doing. She can hear exactly what they're saying. So she knows what their plan is going to be to get to this wonderful wizard. Now, that crystal ball is symbolic, family. It's a metaphor. It's symbolic for what today's wicked witch does. America, by the way, they use devices and gadgets to secretly monitor our conversations. Like, for instance, this broadcast. Like, for instance, your telephone conversation. Like, for instance, software that can go into your texts and look for certain keywords or your emails. That type of wicked witch and that type of surveillance sort of capability. And for those who don't believe that, I have a little snippet of an article there from CNET written by a young lady who's telling you that satellites, this is 3 years ago, satellites are becoming real-time spies in the sky. Of course you knew that, right? Of course you knew that, right? So just so you know, you see the symbolism there. Okay. What else we got? The Wicked Witch of the West, seeking to sabotage these characters, sends them through poppy fields. Why poppy fields? Look on the screen. Don't they look so pretty on the right? That bottom, the picture on the right, they look so pretty. Why would she send them through poppy fields? And what do those poppy fields or plants symbolize? Well, when you consider that poppy plants produce heroin, morphine, and opium, then you get the point. A poppy plant produces sedative drugs that put you to sleep, unlike, let's say, a caffeine that perks you up, right? Why does she want to put them to sleep? And what does putting them to sleep mean? It means that if they're energized, we're going to make them lazy. They ready to take care of business. They scheduling their day. They know what they got to do. They got a things to do list. They're checking stuff off. We're going to make them procrastinate. Oh, I'll do that later. If they got supreme confidence in themselves, if they believe they can say, let there be light and they'll be light, we're going to give them this poppy. And we're going to make them say, I'm never going to be this. My mother was that, and my father was this, and so I'm doomed to be that. See, you see what they do? The poppy plant is metaphorical. It could be a real opiate. You know, the white man got an opiate crisis. That's funny, right? Because we've been had one because he introduced it to us, right? Now that he got one, there's a national, international issue about it. Peace, pop style. I see you, my sister, right? So what you see in here is this is key because we know that in the 1970s, in order to sabotage the tremendous nation-building revolutionary impact of the Black Power movement, they flooded our communities with what? Heroin. Those of you who live in Harlem like me know that of all of the places in the country, Harlem was the hardest hit by heroin. I wonder why. Is it because Garvey comes out of there? Is it because Brother Malcolm comes out of there? I don't know. Is it because Carlos Cooks comes out of there? James Baldwin comes out? I don't know. But I know they hit Harlem hard, and they hit all of this country hard with heroin. What's so important? Heroin is a sedative drug. It comes from what? The poppy plants, the same poppy plants that the Wicked Witch of the West in the movie sent those characters through to destroy them. Then we know that in the 80s, in order to stop what? The re-emergence of Black nationalism. See, the 60s and 70s brought the Black Power movement, which came off the heels of the Civil Rights movement, right? Right? Okay. And in the 80s, the children's generation of those 60s and 70s people was us, my generation. We were the children of the people, the Stokely Carmichaels, the Kwame Tures, the Malcolm X's, right? So we came into existence listening to their stories, reading of their great work, and we sought to continue their work. So when they saw a reemergence of this nationalist fervor, the government got worried. How did they see it? We saw it primarily in hip-hop music. We had X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, right? Brand Nubian. I mean, we had KRS-One, who've been doing it for a long time. All of this rap music was dealing with fight the power. right? Talking about the drug epidemic, talking about fighting police brutality and things of this nature. And even NWA, which became really reactionary, they even had a song called Fuck the Police. Wasn't no hands up, don't shoot stuff going on, right? It was a very adversarial, nationalistic sort of movement coming through our music, kind of a cultural nationalism. So in order to quell that and silence it, the government flooded our communities with a different form of poppy. And this was primarily crack, and had people who were community leaders. Remember, the mayor of DC family, Marion Barry, who many don't know was a great man and a leader in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, along with Kwame Ture, right? And H. Brown, there was Marion Barry. And he did phenomenal work in DC as a young man. As an older man, he lost his way, began messing with crack. So crack even reached the topmost echelons of our community, right? Okay, so the crack put us to sleep. Why? Because you had people who were in great shape, athletes messing with the crack, their health was going. Mothers who had ethical and moral compasses, raising families the best they could, becoming prostitutes to get crack. And even doing some of the most unimaginable things I'm not going to get into right now, family, to get crack. Things that may have sabotaged their families. Fathers who may have been hardworking and visionary, they becoming prostitutes for crack. It destroyed families, it destroyed communities, and it certainly crept into our organizations and even our businesses, right? Okay, I want everybody to make sure, I just want to make sure everybody got that. Now, here's the thing that I didn't get to tell you. Each one of these characters is an archetype, a type of person. Don't just look at it as, oh, these are interesting characters in a movie. Each one represents an element of our community. So you got Dorothy, who's disconnected from home. She's lost. We know that. She's just lost in the sauce. She don't know her elbow from her butt bone, her tailbone. She don't know which way is up, right? She's separated from her concept of cosmology, theology, and everything. Then you got the Scarecrow. What doesn't he have? He says, I don't have a what? A brain. That's symbolic of him not being intelligent or competent. And he has embodied that. He embraces that. I don't have a brain, I'm unintelligent. And you probably know people in your own family or community who are like this. Hey, man, you always know what's going on. Why don't you always are critical of these politicians. Why don't you run for city council? And they say, oh, no, please. Man, I'm not smart enough to do that. That's for smart people, right? You know, people like that may even be you. Why don't you do? I don't have this. I don't have. You go immediately to what you don't have, and there's no conversation of what you do have. That's the Scarecrow. Or you may know people in your community or family who have no heart, like the Tin Man. What does it mean to have no heart? It means that you are ruthless. You lack humanity. You are inhumane, cold-hearted, right? The type that might go around here and slash a person for no reason, push somebody down the subway steps, go shooting randomly and killing people that are innocent. That would be knocking old ladies in the middle over the head, bum rushing to their house, stealing stuff from their house, right? Yeah, that's a Tin Man. Then you might have somebody that's a cowardly lion. Think about it, a lion, big, strong, muscular, fast. Supposedly the king and queen of the jungle, but this lion is scared to death of everything. A little mouse come by, this lion that's 800 times the size of the mouse and could flick that mouse like that and kill it upon flicking it, is running behind trees, scared to death. The natural leader and leaders of the community shrinking. Like Fred Flintstone used to shrink when he got insecure, right? Instead of stepping up. And as Donnie Fletcher correctly says, in the Wiz version, the black version, the Motown version of the Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow sings the song, "You Can't Win. You can't get even and you can't get out of the game." It's a song of what? What do we call that? Demoralization. Not it's going to be hard to win. Not it's going to be challenging to win. You can't win. And you singing this to your community. So I think you see where we're going, right? And I think did I forget one? Dorothy, Tin Man, Scarecrow, Cowardly Lion, yes. Now, if you look at all those characterizations, those are archetypes of the people, the types of people in our community that make a revolution or even just a liberation movement or even just black empowerment almost impossible. Because how can you win? You really can't win. As the Scarecrow and the Wiz says, you can't win if you got people who are completely scared to say or do anything. They know something's wrong. They're scared to stick their neck out and help their people. You can't win if you got people that's like, I don't know anything. I can't be helpful. I'm incompetent. You can't win if you got people that's killing everybody in their community and ain't never picking up no gun against the people that the established Gestapo police that's killing everybody in their town. You can't win that way. So to that degree, that song is right. But guess what? Or you got people who are just lost, family. These people is lost. They're like, no, the white man ain't that bad. No, I mean, we got two parties. If you don't like something, you want to change it, just register and vote. No, you just got to get your money up. So you get your money up, your credit score right, we can be free. Nah, man. Lost, meaning they don't have a correct analysis. They can't have a correct analysis because they don't have the right information. They don't have the right information because they went to schools that were designed to miseducate them and make sure they wouldn't have the right information. To teach them that if you want to change stuff, go and vote. How long we been voting, family? I just want to be clear. Since about mid-60s with the Voting Rights Act. We free yet? Exactly right. We got black people making tons of money. More millionaires than ever. We free yet? Exactly. Y'all understand what we're saying? That they tell us, the people oppressing us are telling us how to fight back. And we follow that and expect to be free. So this is what we got going. These are what these characters represent. It wasn't just that the Scarecrow didn't have a brain. It's trying to say that we got people in our community who, based on their oppressors, have internalized the message that we are nothing, have nothing, and can do nothing of merit for ourselves. So this is why you got big, strong gangster dudes in the community. The sisters are sweating them. They coming out with the tank top. Oh, the sisters, oh, check them out. Brother lifting weights. Brother knocking black people out. The brother knocking brown people out. God forbid the brother knocking sisters out. But when the police come with their heavily militarized weaponry against us, that brother is nowhere in sight. Nowhere to be found. How is that possible? That's the Cowardly Lion, who's also a Tin Man. But when he see the white man, he becomes the Cowardly Lion. He's the Tin Man around his people who he knows are vulnerable, weak, and disorganized. And he knows that nobody comes to our aid when something's wrong, right? All right, so y'all got that. Let's try to move on quickly. So our misinformed characters have discovered that this wizard, they finally get to the wizard and they realize after all of this stuff, they finally get there, family. Think of the yellow brick road as your life, your whole life. Go to college. Make sure you register to vote. Make sure you go to church. Make sure all of these things we're told. These are our wonderful wizards. You go to church every Sunday, you believe in sweet white Jesus who looked like John Lennon with sandals and a robe on. Go to school, you'll be free. You're good. Those are the answers. And we got more college graduates than ever. more people with doctorate degrees, more people with good credit scores, more people with businesses, more people with their own homes, more people, you see? And all those people get there and realize I'm better off than I was, or people know better because I'm better off. And this is really not the answer I thought. Right? Okay. So when they get to this wonderful wizard, they realize he has no powers at all. It's right here in this scene. It's showing that they confront him. He sent them on this mission. Bring back the broom and the red slippers of the wicked witch. So they do that. And he says, if you do that for me, I'll give you guys what you want. He's behind this curtain. There's a big curtain and all the smoke and mirrors going on. And their dog Toto runs and he yanks the curtain back. When the dog yanks the curtain back, family, guess what? There's nothing but a stale, frail, pale white male manipulating gadgets. So in other words, there is no wonderful wizard. It's a regular white man, right? So now that they see there's no real wizard, they've gone through all their life, not just a road, their life, thinking they are nothing, have nothing, can be nothing, thinking if they put all their money together and pay for this house or pay for this or pay for this or do this, they'll be free. Now they realize, damn, we've been what? Lied to. Run amok. Led astray. Bamboozled, as Brother Malcolm said. They get what? Upset. They now mad. They now feel like, yo, you lied to me, man. I would have made different decisions. I would have lived differently, right? I would have made different alliances and allegiances if I knew the truth, but you lied. And so now I'm here. I've done all this, and I still ain't got no damn money. And I'm still getting denied loans, and I'm still paying for a car or whatever higher or more than other people. And I got degrees, and yet a white man with not even a high school diploma can make more than the average brother or sister with a college degree. You've been lied to. So what do you think they do? They ready to militate on this old white man. So he wisely says, oh, wait, I can't give you, Scarecrow, a brain because you always had one. I didn't hear that. He's forced to admit, I have no power. I don't have the power to give you that, number one. Number two, you already have a brain. Now, if you saw either movie, The Wizard of Oz or The Wiz, you know, the Scarecrow was the smartest one of all of them. He was sharp. He's coming up with plans. In The Wiz, Michael Jackson's quoting all types of philosophers. It has all types of wise sayings, right? So he always had a brain, right? Okay, he says, but where I come from, this is the wizard, we give people like you who are smart this. What does he give them? What does he? I ain't gonna tell you. I want somebody to type that in. What does the wonderful wizard give the Scarecrow when they finally find out he ain't got no power? He's been lying. As a symbol of intelligence that we still seek and get today. All right, I don't see nobody giving me no answers, so I'm gonna say it. He gives him a diploma or a degree, a piece of paper wrapped up with a ribbon. As soon as he gives this to the Scarecrow, he's happy. And he's quoting all types of stuff, using big words. It's almost like he still don't get it. Like, bro, you were smart before this white man was in the picture. You didn't need his validation to be intelligent. You were always intelligent. Right? Okay. He goes to the lion. He says, lion, I don't have the power to give you what you want. And secondly, you already have it. As you think back in the movie, especially The Wiz, you see that the lion, when the people was coming in the subway station to kill him, the lion stepped up and growled and ran him off. The lion always had courage. When he needed to be courageous, he was. But he'd been taught that he was a punk and a chump. So he embodied and internalized what he was taught by the larger society. We got people like that today. Yeah, we call them all types of bad words. Oh, you ain't this, because they out here busting guns and beating people up every day. But if the community needed something, if somebody was threatened, those would be the same people out there laying them down, family, and fighting for the community. Right? Okay. So you see what happens. So he gives the lion what? Says, where I come from, Mr. Lion, we give courageous people like you this. What's he give the lion? A medal of courage. What current day component of people in our community would get a medal of courage? Think about that. Your uncles. This would most likely be people like your uncles, your dads, your grandpops. These are people who fought in wars, family. These are soldiers, military people who get medals of valor. It's just another way of saying what? Courage. So the movie, even though it's just a children's movie, is actually telling on how this society operates. It's revealing to you through symbols and certain actions what actually happens. So we give some of the men in our families, and now women increasingly, join the military. I don't know one guy I knew to join the military that was on some Rambo stuff like, I love America and I got to protect America. Most of the dudes I knew that went to the military was like, man, it's wild here, man. People getting shot every day. I might as well go over here. I get paid. I travel the world, and I can meet some fine sisters around the world. That's what the brothers I knew. That's why they went. I don't remember one of them talking about how they wanted to save America. It was the economic, political, social, cultural decision that drove them to join. When I get out, I'll get the GI Bill. I can get a house. That's what drove people to go. They're thinking that here, I'm just going to stay here and get killed or go to jail. But at least if I go there, I have a fighting chance. So it was a calculated decision. But some people went also because they thought that they would go as a young guy who was immature, didn't have no money. They would come back as a conquering lion. They would come back as a man. This is why the army in their propagandistic commercials, they have a thing, be all that you can be. Right? They got the big guy with the sword, and it's all propaganda. It's the same thing that we see in this movie. Okay. Now let's bring it all together. Number one, this society and its institutions, because remember, institutions tell you what type of society you're in. By institutions, we mean formal, heavily organized, very tradition-heavy groups and organizations. The church is an institution. The family is an institution. The media is an institution. The government is an institution. Okay. These institutions work to turn us into these characters. The lion, no courage, no self-esteem. The scarecrow, no intelligence, no competence or capability. The Tin Man, insensitive, impolite, dangerous, thugged out, kill you, ready to fight all the time. At least their own people, never ready to fight the enemy. And when you add all of those characters and qualities together, what you get is Dorothy, someone who's lost, confused, and disconnected from their people, their culture. And I would add, because I do believe in a higher source or power, not necessarily the way these religions teach it, but you're disconnected from your own cosmology, like your own way of looking at the universe and your role in it and your responsibilities being on this earth, right? You're lost. Now, also to make sure that we never get on the right road, not the yellow brick road, family, to the fake ass wizard, the white man, but the real road to liberation, to make sure we never stumble onto that road, they steer you through the poppy fields of life. I came up in the crack era, family. I remember walking around, you almost couldn't walk nowhere without seeing those little crack vials all on the sidewalk. A constant reminder. My brother's locked up. Some of them still locked up from the 90s and the 80s for selling crack. That was the conspiracy. That was the poppy field to slow us down. And what did it do? It did slow us down. It did slow us down. After that golden era of hip hop that was highly political and nationalistic, what we get? We got the shake your booty. You got the, almost like a new disco era. Very hedonistic, very pleasure driven. So, and remember, you can live in hell. You can even be in a prison cell where you have no freedom. But if you high, you think you in heaven, you good, you feel good until the high wears off. Right? So we're often still into these poppy fields to sabotage our forward motion, family. Right? And this is drugs, incarceration, street organizations, dropping out of school. You don't need that. Let's go have fun. Well, like when you were going to school and you cut school, those of you cut, why did you cut school? Was like, we got to cut, so let's go to the library. We can learn this stuff more efficiently on our own. No, it was pleasure driven. And our youth are taught, because they're the most susceptible and impressionable and the least experienced. So they're taught to believe not in the authority of something real, not in the authority of an African cosmology, of a Mayat, of a code that had a strong ethical base that would point them in strong directions where they would be assets to their people, where they would bring honor to their community, their family, and ancestors. They're pointed in the direction of men and women who set themselves up as false gods and false prophets, cults, religions that ain't producing nothing except for the minister or pastor. Come on, family. If you got a church and you teaching truth and wisdom, we should see evidence of that. If somebody's telling you, I'm getting myself together, I'm going to the gym, and I'm getting my spirit right, and I'm saving my money, I'm taking classes on money, and the mofo's still broke, asking you for money, still way overweight, still trying to have sex with every woman they see, would you or would you not say this person can't possibly be doing these things they say, or they're not taking it seriously? Why? Because you expect to see change. If someone's saying, I'm studying finances, I'm doing this, you're going to see what they're going to use their money differently. They even see money differently. They're not just trying to find every opportunity to throw it away to somebody else. They're trying to find ways to bring it in. Right? You're going to see them slowly saving money. Their credit score may go up. Right? They're gonna say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. That's a waste of time. I want to do stuff that's investments for me, so that next year I'm a better me. Not so that next year I'm the same old me or worse. So this is what we mean here, family, when we say bringing it all together. Now, so what do we do with this information, with this new way of looking at things? Provide our children and our people with strong spiritual foundation, strong cultural foundation, so they don't bow down to false prophets, fake gods, and impotent government officials and all this other fake stuff that's going on. And that teaches them to be strong and poised when the enemy comes. Not to quiver, not to drop the lighter, not to stumble, to stand there strong and serene, full of knowledge that they got a people that's organized and prepared to do battle. Right? So not to be afraid of their enemy. It means that we create opportunities for our people to develop a sense of achievement, accomplishment, and victory. Because I'm going to tell you something. An antidote for a lot of this is a taste of victory. When you've been failing all your life because you've been going down a yellow brick road. Oh, you in your 20s, party your life away. That's the time you party. That's what America teaches you, right? How's that working for you? How did that work for you? Where are you now? Other countries teach their 20-year-olds, get your education, get certified in get a craft, a skill. Build that skill and craft. Master it. And use that to maintain yourself and maybe a new family, right? We're taught different. So we're taught to kind of to beg for what we want, to beg for what we need, and work for what we want. We're taught everything opposite of that which will make us powerful, family. And if you just don't listen to me, just go back and think about it. Think of the messaging you got. certain industries you were pushed into, certain things you were taught on, right? And only a real demonic spirit would get strong and big off of something and dissuade you from taking the same course, unless what they're trying to do is help you understand the complexities of this. That maybe they took a course because they thought something and they found out, it wasn't all that thought. So you also need to know when you go this way, this is what you're going to encounter. It's not everything people sold me or you on. Right? So the white man will go to the gym, get big and strong, see that you're puny, and you'll be talking about going to the gym. And when you ask him how he got strong, he said, "Oh, don't go to the gym." Oh, don't you worry about studying. Oh no, I wouldn't study. Oh man, just experience everything. Let's just go through life, just experiencing. Oh man, the point of wisdom and learning is that you don't have to go and experience everything. Imagine if you want to learn about crack, why you shouldn't use it. So with that ignorant philosophy, you go smoke crack. I need to experience it to know I shouldn't do it. I need to sniff some coke to know that's not right. I need to get my behind jumped to know what it's like to get jumped. Now that is foolishness, family. Foolishness. Wise people are supposed to observe what happens to everybody else that smoke crack. And I'm gonna keep it real. Wow, that sister fine. Every brother's checking it out. Now she's on that crizzle, that crack. Every brother's looking the other way. Because now her skin is horrible, her breath is horrible. She's going up to strangers talking about, "I'll do this for you if you give me $10. She's no longer appealing because she's done something. So now you're gonna go do what she just did. That's wisdom. Says, "Oh no, I don't need to go to a long sermon. I never had to go to no long sermon. Or don't do crack. You ain't had to tell me that. I saw what it was doing to the people." Right? Okay. We have to make sure our kids get a taste of victory. What it's like to win. We know what it's like to lose our money, our sense, our homes, our property, our relationships. We good at that. Let's teach the people what it's like to win and that they got to move different and think different if they want to win. Winners think different. Winners don't say can't. They may say, "I don't think that's a good idea." They won't say we can't. We could do that, but I don't know if that's the best usage of our time and resources. That's how a winner thinks. A winner says, "This is the problem. Let's find a solution. Let's not spend 1,000 hours crying, complaining, whining about it." No. Right? So teach the kids to win. Let them have the feeling of victory. And I don't mean that just literally like they're in a competition in a sport or game, but they win. What do they do? What do you got to do to win? Y'all know we get up early. We plan our day. We identify good teammates that bring skill set and knowledge base to our team that helps us advance. Things we think are important, but we don't have ourselves, we get people who do, or we study it so that we do know it. Right? All these things that are skills we can learn. It's not just for somebody else to know and how to do. We can learn it. Teach the people to want to win. Now, I don't mean to be overly competitive. Those people, you tying your shoes, they want to bet who can tie them faster. Not like that. But meaning they should hate to lose. And they should define losing as anything that sets themselves and their people backwards. Losing money, losing property, wasting resources, never being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it is losing. And teach the people that we can win. Losing is a mentality and a habit and a culture. And winning is a mentality, set of habits, and a culture. We can teach it and embody it. We can change how we move. Also, help them understand their people, their history, their culture. Because at the end of that Wiz movie, the Wizard of Oz movie, everybody's kind of getting their little trinkets. Everybody's happy. The one lion got his medal, and the scarecrow gets a diploma, whatever. Poor Dorothy is still lost. And so she wants to get back home. So ultimately, the balloon that the wizard is in, because he was really a hot air balloonist. You get it? You know, a bunch of hot air. He was a liar, and he was a person who believed in talking a lot, but he was a liar. This is what that's symbolic of. He flows away in a balloon. So how does he was going to take Dorothy home, so how she get home? A good witch comes, family, because all witches ain't bad. The good witch comes, Glinda, from the north. The north? The north? And Glinda says, oh, baby girl, don't cry. All you had to do this whole time is click your heels 3 times and say, what? There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. What does that mean? That your ancient customs, your traditional indigenous ways, your cosmology, the way that you looked at the earth and the universe and your role in it, your special teachings, your wise sayings, the way that your parents were trying to teach you and raise you, which they passed down generation to generation, is your ticket, is your salvation, your leadership, your Paul Robeses, your Ella Bakers, your Kings, your X's, your Garveys. Y'all feeling me? Those were the good witches when we was lost and I can't do nothing. They gave us spine and courage. When you was throwing your money away on the swine and the alcohol and the gambling, they came and said, no, brother, sister, how you going to do that and then talk about next month you ain't got no money? You gave all your money to the white man. Look, we can do it differently, and we can have factories and manufacturing plants and shipping lines. The same energy you take to vote and be in this person's Democratic political party, you can build your own party. Your taxes go and pay the police that come and kill your people. You can pay them taxes to your own self and have your own Black Panther Party, Republican Africa, your own provisional government. Everything you see in them, you can have. There's no place like home, is what the main story, the main point of that whole movie is to tell you, you don't have to go external. Your power is within you, or within your community, or within your history, or within your culture, man. That is the whole point. So, family, these are just a few things we can do. I'm giving you a framework to understand what's going on, why they do it, how it impacts us, but also a way to combat that. Teach the people to look to those good witches, the people that move amongst us that seem to have exceeding power in their message, their program, their organization. Teach them to be leaders and problem solvers, to create opportunities for themselves, to utilize their skills for their people. Teach them that education and self-improvement are non-negotiables. Don't let anybody ever tell you, well, don't work on yourself. No, that's not important. No, they're backwards. You must work on yourself, then. Anyone that's played in a real team knows that you go to practices together and you learn play stuff together, but you're given a playbook that you're required to study at home. The requirement is that you don't just work when you're with the team, you're doing stuff on your own, so that when you come to the team, you're giving the team your best self. This has to be non-negotiable. Let nobody in your house think they can coast. They're not responsible. They don't have to do chores. They don't have to do this. Make everybody know you're part of a team. Everybody plays a role here. Or inevitably, predictably, your team will lose. It doesn't take a genius. If everyone's not performing their best and they have no incentive to perform their best, if people got incentive to do nothing, guess what? What they're saying is they're not part of this team. So we have to teach that, because we've been taught everything to lead to our demise. If we can understand this, family, everything that we need to know to fail, to die early, to be upset all the time and get nothing done, we were taught. Don't you see that? And everything we needed to be strong and whole and confident and accomplished and self-governing was hidden. You know, it's kind of like all things that are precious are hidden. Gold ain't just lying around. Oil ain't just lying. You can just get a bucket and dig up some oil and go to the gas station. You got to mine and dig for that. You got to work, right? Same thing. And with that said, I think, family, of course, I want to leave you with, please, family, you're watching on YouTube. You may be watching on me on Facebook. Please subscribe to our new Harlem Liberation School YouTube channel, family, because, you know, the white man took down Black Liberation University unfairly and unethically about 2 years ago. We're back in a new format, new form, and we hope that we will earn your support by giving you that real nation-building information. Please subscribe to our channel, like the video, share them, and also, family, please kind of, how do I want to say, kind of help us to grow. It's not enough to bark on what you don't like. Support what you do like, and you'd be surprised at the power we have to grow things. With that said, family, I want to thank you. I've taken about an hour. I'm sorry about that. It just is a lot to cover. Thank you for checking us out. I hope you found it interesting and useful. I hope that you will try to use some of what we talked about today. Peace, Black Power, Wukusu, free the land by any means necessary. We have the power, family, to do what we will if we work towards it and we organize. Peace.